you say something to make sure that we have you?
This is Bill Adams.
Oh, okay.
You hear me?
Yeah. Hello, Bill.
I'm down in Florida. My parents are having a problem, so I flew down last night, and I'm working on my brother's computer, and I can't get his. I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me?
Yeah, I see Robert Adams, and I was going to promote Robert Adams to a panelist when we get to that point in the meeting.
Okay, so I'm on Robert Adams's computer.
Okay, great. Yeah, so if you want to just to make sure nothing goes wrong, you can hang out on this phone if you want, and so
yeah,
at least
I'll do that.
Have you? Yeah, and like I was saying, it should be a fairly quick meeting, and we should move through the business stuff pretty quickly and get to the Foundry Street agenda item pretty quick. I'm just waiting for one more member, so we have a quorum of 3. And
okay.
Yeah, and that should be Tim. You said here, and here's Tim. Excellent. And there's Tim.
Boy, it's getting pretty gloomy out there. My son's at the Red Sox game. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it tonight.
Yeah, it's raining on and off here in Boston. So
I went last night. Wasted time.
But at least you went. You had fun, right? It's all in just being there for the game. It's not if you win or lose.
I don't know. By the time you pay for the tickets, you're at 3 or 4.
Bad meat price.
But that's another issue.
Trying to stay positive.
$13.50 for a beer.
Good Lord, that's cheap.
Yeah, $13.50.
So Tim, you're kind of grainy and a little discombobulated. Maybe
normal.
Once you stop moving, that might help.
Yeah, I just get it from work. I'm trying to sit right.
No worries.
Right now.
Okay.
That's it. That's as good as I get.
Okay, I think that works. And we do have Bill Adams is here in the meeting as well.
Okay.
So it's 6:32. We do have a quorum. I will start the recording, and as soon as you hear the computer lady, Tim, if you want to call us to order. So let me get that going. There we go.
Recording in progress.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Eastern Historic Commission meeting Wednesday, the 14th, 2023. Call the meeting to order. Wayne, if you could please, our Zoom rules.
Absolutely. This meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board and commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count toward quorum. The meeting may be broadcast live and will be recorded on ECAT.
Thank you. And if we could vote in, we don't have anybody to vote in.
That's right. Yeah, everybody's a regular member. We don't need any alternates.
So did Bob say he was going to make it tonight? I did see him earlier today, and he said he was going to make it.
He's not here now, is he, John? Do you see him?
No.
Huh?
No, I've not seen Bob Bishop for a bit. If he does show up, I'm keeping my eye on the attendance list, and if he does show up, I'll make sure I promote him in.
Roger. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, pursuing the agenda. Demolition review application of 523 Foundry Street. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review it. Any thoughts before we get into it? Or I guess we get into it.
Yeah, we have Mr. Bill Adams here. He's on the phone, and perhaps he would like to talk a little bit about the proposed project.
Bill, if you could, please.
So, yeah, my name is Bill Adams, and I just finished the project down the street, the Aroma Joe's. So that is a little bit of an example of the kind of work that I do. And my plan is with this new district that they've created with multi-zone, my plan is to tear down that building that's there. It's in terrible condition. The interior has been gutted and it was turned into a dentist office. And the second floor had roof leaks, and it's totally destroyed on the second floor. So my plan is to remove the building and build a building on that property that will have 4 or 5 stores on the first floor, whatever we can fit in that unit. And then I wanted to put a second floor with 5 units and a third floor. I sent a rendering over of a similar style of what I'm proposing to build. I'm from Easton originally. My family's for generations are from Easton, and I would like to create something that will complement the area, and hopefully will be a historical building someday in the future. I don't shortchange the jobs. I build them with the finest materials, and I try to make it as nice for people also by putting in walkways and areas, pads on the ends for people to sit, and whatever I can do to enhance the property is what my plan is. I have 2 different architects that are working on it, and I was hoping that they would have a rendering for this meeting, but all they had was that one that was similar, which I did upload. I sent it to Wayne. I also sent pictures of the interior of the building. If you want to see them, they're available. And I also sent a site plan showing the layout of the building with storefronts in the front and parking on the sides, and then for the residents to be parking in the rear. I intend on putting a fence on the property line to separate the neighbors, so there'll be no problem with the neighbors, and really make it for the first mixed use zone building, I believe. This I know there's another big project going down the street, across the street, but this is right at the beginning of it, and it would complement the area, and I believe that's what the town of Easton wants, and that's why they rezoned it.
Thank you, Bill. I think first off, we need to decide if this property is historic. Wayne?
Correct. Yeah, under the demolition review bylaw, it's determination of whether the property is historically significant.
And it really only falls into the criteria of age. Beyond that, I mean, it's recognizable as a cape, I guess, if you can imagine the dorm is gone and whatnot. The fact the interior is, not doing too well. We don't really care about the interiors, except its integrity, which it sounds like it may have lost it. I don't see us dying on this hill here. I don't know. Anyone, any comments?
I actually read Macris, went down and took a peek at the house from the outside. And everything that I see and read, including, most of the decorative wood moldings and so forth that were in the style of that federally classic home, is all gone or ripped off, covered. I don't like seeing any piece of history torn down, but at the same time, I don't think it falls into worthiness of bringing this forward any further.
Thank you. Amy, anybody?
I agree.
Okay. Who else? Anybody else with us?
And Bob Bishop was here. I promoted him to panelist. He showed up and has gone away again. I'm going to try it again.
I get a big R.
There he is. He's on here twice. Hello, Bob.
How are you doing?
Hi, Bob.
So you need to hang up one of your computers or phones because when you speak, the other one's picking it up and you're getting a reverb. So you're on here twice.
All right.
One of you is more than enough, Bob.
Yeah, I know that. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out all this stuff.
No worries.
You, Bob.
Well, we're getting him squared away. Should we vote him in or vote on having him be a voting member?
Yep, good idea.
On here.
motion to vote Bob up.
Second,
Hurley, aye.
Petrusko, aye.
Spencer, I.
Thank you.
Good thought. Thank you, Amy. And Bob is now gone completely. Okay.
Wow. I hate to continue this without him, but Bill, you mentioned a third floor?
Yes, there's gonna be, on the second floor, there'll be residential, and on the third floor, residential.
Do you know how many units you're aiming for?
There's 10 units total.
Cool. Thank you.
And that's, I was told by Stephanie, that's what the zoning allows.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. We've got Bob Bishop again. Let's try this one more time. Thank you all for bearing with us. There's Bob. Hello, Bob. We see you. If you unmute yourself, we should be able to hear you.
Hey, how we doing?
Excellent, Bob. You're perfect.
All right. Better late than never. I apologize. Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Bob. Right now, Bob, we're just discussing the demolition review on Foundry Street. The three of us here at the meeting, Amy, John, and myself, agreed that there's minimal historical left. John mentioned that all the penetration and everything that was on the outside has been stripped, is gone.
Including the inside.
Yeah, well, the inside we don't care, but
Yeah,
it's, barely recognizable as whatever it started out as, a cape, I assume, but so beyond it being just falling under the criteria of age, we really have nothing here to hold on to.
Okay, I'll go along with that. I did hear a lot of the prior conversation while I was trying to sign in.
Oh, all right, good, thank you. Bill, you mentioned another architect. Can we expect some different renderings?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
You mentioned you have another architect. Do you have are you expecting some different renderings to give us a different look?
They're working on it now, and we're going before the planning board on the 26th, and we're supposed to have it before that, for that meeting.
Okay.
So I'm expecting to have it probably within a week, and I can send it to you.
Yeah, if you could, I think we'd like to have another look at what else you got. I mean,
Okay.
Mr. Ekstrom usually does a pretty good job on stuff, and it looks like he could do a little more detail. I don't know. I've seen him do some pretty nice stuff. So, and you've
Right.
got some as well. So,
I'd like to comment on that too, Tim, if you finish.
yeah, go ahead, John. Take it away.
As I agreed, Mr. Adams, I don't have any issue with the, we'll be voting on this shortly. I did like what you said about an historical look. When I looked at the rendering, I didn't see any of that. And this whole section is going to be transformed. And it started with Mr. Lincoln restoring the Belcher home, which is gorgeous, and then building the two federal style properties right next to it. There's also, and I don't know if you're aware, that there's going to be the Swift Park, which is in front of the Keach property, is going to be completely changed and restored and enlarged and so forth. So with that said, I think that your property could also be a diamond in this whole section that's going to be revitalized. So again, I repeat, I know it was just a rendering, but I know you had mentioned historical look. I like your history, that you're vested in the community and you seem to be going in that direction or are in that direction. But I just wanted to reiterate that if you could keep in that style and not the typical strip mall like you see up the street. iGolf is an example, that strip mall there, which
Right.
personally as a citizen would cringe, and an historical buff cringe even more. So if we could take a look at that and keep that in mind, that it would be greatly appreciated to the community and to the historical integrity of the town if you can follow along those lines.
Okay. I want to point out that the building down the street at 507 Foundry was the former Eastern Bank. Do you remember what that building looked like before
Yeah,
I built
goes-
A-frames on all different parts of the building? I returned all the corners. I put copper flashing up on the front all the way around the building, and really tried to, give it some extra flair compared to the building that it was prior. I mean, it looks like a night and day building. I did stone front around the cement work. Most guys would just leave the bare cement there. I put stone along the ramp that was there and the stairway and all of that. And tried to give it a look. I put a nice sidewalk that's got a nice little curve to it out front, and I built a platform out there for people to sit down and have a cup of coffee. So definitely the other guy that I'm using, Ethan's got a good eye, and he's done a lot of different really nice houses. And the other guy is John Koyman that I use, and he specializes in commercial structures. And between the two of them, I'm the guy that's going to approve what they come up with, and it's going to have to be something. I'm going to hang on to this property. I'm not selling it, so it's something I want to be proud of. So I definitely will keep that in mind.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anyone else? Any discussion? Further discussion? We take a vote. I think the voted proposal is to allow Mr. Adams to remove the current structure from, is it 537 Foundry?
It is. If I could propose some potential vote language, if that would be helpful.
Yes, sir.
The Historical Commission determines that 537 Foundry Street is not historically significant. While it
523?
is, I'm sorry, 523, thank you. So the Historical Commission, a determination that 523 Foundry Street is not historically significant. While it is within the Furnace Village National Register District, it is so heavily altered that it does not retain historic integrity. So something along those lines.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Motion for a vote.
Second it?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, do we have a vote? Hurley, aye.
Dresser,
Bishop, aye.
Spencer, I.
Yeah,
Bobby?
that's unanimous. Yeah, I think Bishop, I did weigh in. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Bill, please stay in touch with the future renderings.
I will.
All right,
As
thank you.
soon as I have them, I'll send them up. Okay.
Excellent. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take
Thank you
care.
very much. I appreciate it.
Thank
all,
you.
and good luck with all in Florida. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If I can find my agenda. Demolition review, Boston Post Kane discussion. I think Wayne and I, and maybe John and I have separately talked about this, and I don't know where to go with it. I think it, who started it first, John? Northeastern Savings, I think it got bounced to the Historic Society.
And it was always a small, because I was doing it and taking pictures. We go to the recipient's home or business.
Well, that was typical. If they couldn't make it, we would go to their home regardless.
No,
So,
this was even before that.
yeah.
Before we even had the preservation program.
Oh, okay.
Just go out, do a photo op, and it went in the paper, and that was it. Then Hazel had approached us, Historical Commission, that when we started the preservation program, it'd be nice to piggyback on that. And I said, well, that's a great idea. And that's how that became, I'm going to say 20 years, and I'm going back 40 years, close to 40 years, where we go to people's home, whether it be a retirement home or so forth. And so it's been going on a long time, as I said, and it just kind of stopped with COVID, like a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's a Northeastern Savings thing, and Hazel was always the one that instigated this. I don't know who's gonna, if she's still doing it or if somebody else is appointed to doing this.
Yeah, we should talk to maybe Courtney Palm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Courtney used to come and she was kind of the liaison, so I'll make a note to call Courtney and see
What
what
was
she,
that last name, Tim?
Palm. Palm.
Oh, God, okay, thanks. Courtney Paul, thanks.
Okay. Preservation rewards discussion.
I know Tim and I have been talking about this for a while, and unfortunately it stopped because of COVID and it was such a successful program. I've tossed and turned over this. I don't want to give it up, me personally. But since COVID ended, in the process, I've started a couple of other projects. So I'm toying with whether or not I have enough muster to bring it forward again. So if you can give me another 30 days until July to go from there, I'm leaning on doing it. But the other thing is we usually do it in January, and in January, I plan on being away for a couple of weeks. So that's the other thing that's going to, unless somebody could go from there.
I think that date's floatable, John.
All right, well, as long as that is the case.
Yeah.
That's even more palatable to me. But I'll let everyone know for sure instead of riding the fence in July.
So all in favor of giving John 30 days to be served. 30 days to be served. Yeah, all right, John, thank you. Potential material salvage. I have a call in to Chris, who is the salvage guy, who still plans on coming down. And at this point, maybe I'll turn him on to Billy Adams is over on Depot Street as well. See if we can
Yeah.
work out. I do. It's in
So
my
they
note.
are finished all their other permitting
Yep.
and such. So I have signed off on the demolition permit.
Yeah, okay.
So they are hoping to move on that pretty quickly. So,
All right.
you know, it may be demolished within the next few days, possibly.
Oh, really?
Really? I didn't think it was going that fast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if this guy gives me a date, I'm gonna ask him to hold it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why'd you release that, Wayne?
Because everything's done.
Yeah.
It's been since March 1, I think, was the meeting.
Yeah,
And they've got all of their plans and permits and everything.
all right, maybe I'll give this guy another jingle and see what he says. If he can't make it, he can't make it.
Yeah.
Okay. Review and accept the minutes. Everybody have a chance to do review?
I did. I was not in attendance in the last meeting, so.
Yeah, you just have to agree with it. I was there, but that's fine. All right, motion to accept minutes as
Bishop,
submitted.
yes.
I'll
Hurley,
second the motion.
Okay, Hurley, yes. Bishop's in. We're good. Thank you.
Spencer, yes.
Preservation restriction, I'm about to get off a job, hopefully within a week to 10 days, and I'll grab Amy and we'll hopefully hit a school.
Yeah, and I've been holding it up because work is crazy, but Cambridge
No,
will get out
neither
of
either. Yeah,
school at the end of next week. So.
yeah, so hopefully, I'm praying I'm out of this job soon, anyhow.
And which address was this again? I know the school building, but I can't remember the address for it.
Right across the farmer's building.
Red Brick Grammar School, yeah.
I know grammar school, but I can't remember what
Yeah.
the number is. Hold
One
on.
additional thought I have for you folks. I believe Harmony Hall has a new owner within the last few years.
Yep.
And I know that Amy and I think Ben Newman monitored the restriction at Harmony Hall in October of 2014.
Oh, wow.
And it was all fine then. But if there's a new owner, you may want to consider moving that up in the.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a
When,
really neat spot too.
It is cool in there.
when a deed gets transferred, Wayne, house purchased. Is there something that goes with that? Are they made aware of it?
They are nominally, it's a preservation restriction is an easement.
Right.
So when you buy a house, you do a title report and it shows, all the things going on, the power line easement across the front, the, water line easement, all this kind of thing. If you, the common driveway that you share with the neighbor, so forth.
Yeah.
So it should show up and they do officially know, but it's always good practice to sort of show up and remind them, either.
Well, yeah, what it's all about, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, that's a thought, Amy. Anything else? Anybody?
Yeah, I just had I would constantly bring this up over the last few years, but has anybody heard anything more about the house across from the monument? The Reed House?
No,
Nothing?
I'm wondering that myself also.
I have Ben Carroll's phone number that Wayne forwarded to me, but I haven't had time to contact him. It's funny, it's kind of like it got closed up, blocked up, and a little bit of not preservation work, but conservation, would you call it, or whatever. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it
Well,
looks like they did, it looked like they did try and clean it up a little bit.
Well,
secure
to
it.
keep, maybe for their own purposes, to keep people out, so nobody gets in there and gets hurt and they're liable. So I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
you want to just keep something, even an abandoned property, secured against break-in.
Yeah,
trespass.
I think that's more or less what I've seen is, plywood over different holes and stuff, but I do need to, maybe I'll put that on my list. I'll get 3 people to call, so.
Yeah.
Ben Carroll, Courtney Palm, and Chris the demo guy.
I did have a couple of other things too. Where is Great Strange officially?
So as a reminder,
Yeah.
If folks want something on the agenda, you should actually have it on the agenda.
Oh, we gotta put it under other.
Well, it's the other pertinent items not reasonably anticipated. And that's like for late breaking, urgent business that shows up.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so it's not meant to be sort of like a free for all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
It's an open meeting law question.
Yeah. Anything else? Seeing none, hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Second,
Hurley, aye.
Bishop, yes.
Driscoll, aye.
Spencer, I.
Excellent.
So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time tonight and hope the storms give rain and not anything too intimidating.
Thank
Thanks,
you for the delay without a problem. I'm getting.
We got there. We got there. That's the main thing. We got there in the end. All
Good night,
right.
all.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a
Thanks
good
again.
night. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.